Welcome to Raj Malhotra's IS Academy. I'm Surbhi Sardana and this is Prelims Sprint 2022, where we will be teaching you the most important topics you need to understand for cracking prelims this year. The topic for today is International Organizations Part 2. We covered many important organizations in yesterday's lecture, and the rest of the organizations will be covered today in this and in the subsequent lectures. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it's the right time to click on the subscribe button. It helps us understand that how are we helping you with the initiatives that we're launching, and also you'll get notifications. You'll get to know whatever initiatives we are bringing up on an everyday basis to help you in your civil services journey. So the topics, the organizations that we will be discussing today are 7 in number. They are very important organizations. The first one is OECD, then we'll be discussing Quad, AUKUS, RCEP, MERCOSUR, 17+1 and Arctic Council. So let's begin with Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. See, to give you a brief hint, आपको एक hint देने के लिए, this is an organization of rich countries. उन countries का जिनका HDI, Human Development Index बहुत high है. HDI of these countries is very high. They are rich countries. They are democracies. And what they do is they have come together in OECD. इस organization के through ये इकट्ठी हुई हैं countries. And what do they do? They learn from each other's experience in policies. इकोनॉमिक पर्सपेक्टिव से जो भी कोलैबोरेशन, जो भी कोऑर्डिनेशन हो सकता है, एक कंट्री ने कुछ सीखा तो वो दूसरी कंट्री को बताते हैं. एंड वट एवर ऑन एन इंटरनेशनल लेवल दे कैन लॉन्च थ्रू कोऑर्डिनेशन एंड कोऑपरेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ इकोनॉमिकल स्फेयर. They do that, and in social policy matters also. So to grow together, to understand from each other's experiences, this organization was formed. It has around 38 members now. It consists of 38 member countries, and it was founded in 1961. पहले इतने members नहीं थे. It started with 12 members only, but as of now it has 38 members. The special part about this organization is कि collaborate करती हैं other countries के साथ. इस organization का part बनना is not that easy, but all the countries in blue are the part of OECD, and बाकी जो सारी countries हैं OECD की countries उन countries के साथ collaboration करती हैं. So what do they do? It is an association of 38 nations in Europe, Americas and Pacific. Europe, Americas and Pacific. It helps member countries formulate economic and social policies, and it also aids developing countries outside memberships and promotes their interests. We'll see OECD ने कौन से initiatives launch किए हैं developing countries को help करने के लिए, और ये economic perspective के regard से कैसे ऐसे initiatives launch करते हैं जो कि global economy को ज़्यादा transparent बनाते हैं और global economy को improve करने में help करते हैं. इनकी सारी members और key partners मिला के they account for 80% of world trade. So that's a very important organization. Now we'll learn about a little bit about this organization in detail and the recent developments with regards to OECD. So you have to remember that it is an official United Nations observer. So from that point of view also, this is a very important organization, and it works closely with non-members. As I told you, China, India, Brazil इनके साथ closely cooperate करते हैं. There is one test that is conducted by this organization every 3 years. It is called PISA. We've discussed this in our policies lecture also. We've covered policies of Ministry of Education, and there we told you that ये पीसा जो टेस्ट होता है इसमें इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स के रिजल्ट्स अच्छे नहीं आ रहे थे, तो हमने पार्टिसिपेट करना ही बंद कर दिया. बट नाउ इंडिया इज़ अ सिग्नेटरी टू दिस प्रोग्राम फॉर इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट असेसमेंट. बेसिक लैंग्वेज, साइंस और मैथमेटिक्स पर टेस्ट किया जाता है इस टेस्ट में स्टूडेंट्स को. एंड इंडिया थ्रू मैनी पॉलिसीज इज ट्राइंग टू एस्टैब्लिश दैट फाउंडेशनल लिटरेसी एंड न्यूमरेसी इन इंडिया so that we can perform well on these parameters. It is also a part of new education policy. So go back to that policies lecture and try to understand what are the initiatives launched to help improve in this test. So the recent development is कि एक multilateral instrument sign किया है to fight base erosion and profit sharing. बहुत सारी companies होती हैं जो कि shell companies बना लेती हैं दूसरे countries में, जहाँ पे tax के जो rules होते हैं उतने stringent नहीं होते, and profit shifting happens from a high taxing country to a low taxing country. So to fight that, this multilateral agreement has been signed, and India is also part of this. Tax inspectors without borders. This is a very important concept. Tax inspector without borders is a joint OECD and UNDP initiative. यूनाइटेड नेशन डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम के साथ मिलकर OECD ये जो प्रोग्राम है टैक्स इंस्पेक्टर्स विदाउट बॉर्डर्स लीड करता है. What does it do? See, there are many developing countries or underdeveloped countries. तो what happens is जो फिनेंशियल क्राइम्स करते हैं या टैक्स इवेजन करती हैं बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज या कॉरपोरेट्स या सम बिजनेस टाइकून्स, वो ऐसी कंट्रीज टारगेट करते हैं जहाँ के टैक्स लॉज, countries where tax laws are not developed enough. उन कंट्रीज़ की गवर्नमेंट्स या टैक्सिंग अथॉरिटीज़ को ज़्यादा नहीं पता होता है कि हमने टैक्स इवेजन को कैसे रोकना है. सो इंडिया इन पार्टनरशिप विद भूटान, इंडिया इज़ गाइडिंग भूटान अंडर दिस इनिशिएटिव. सो टैक्स इंस्पेक्टर्स विदाउट बॉर्डर्स program was launched in partnership with India for Bhutan. So ऐसे this is all about the initiative कि एक country दूसरी country को guide करती है under the guidance of this OECD and UNDP. So if a question is asked that what is this initiative about, you need to remember that what is it about. The last paragraph here is very important. Just like we train professionals in other spheres also. We train doctors for Bhutan, we train military personals for Bhutan and other countries जहाँ पे इंडिया बिग ब्रदर एटीट्यूड शो करता है. तो वैसे ही टैक्स इंस्पेक्टर्स विदाउट बॉर्डर्स के लिए ऑडिटिंग इंस्पेक्टर्स या टैक्स ऑफिशियल्स को इंडिया ट्रेन करता है. सो इट डिप्लॉयज क्वालिफाइड एक्सपर्ट्स इन डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज अक्रॉस अफ्रीका, एशिया, ईस्टर्न यूरोप, लैटिन अमेरिका एंड द कैरेबियन. Number 1, to build tax capacity in areas of audit, criminal tax investigation, because already these countries are poor areas जहाँ पर मतलब ये poverty है and tax evasion इधर बहुत होता है due to all the negative practices going on. For effective use of automatically exchange information, this is very important. That automatically exchange information is very important. एक country अगर दूसरी country को inform कर दे, one country informs the other country that what kind of transactions are taking place from your side. आपके country में कोई बैंक है जिसकी transaction हमारी country में आई है. So that is called automatically exchange information and it helps the target country. जिस country से target वो evasion हो रहा है, tax evasion, it helps that country a lot to fight such crimes, such financial crimes. So India, through this program, India aims to aid Bhutan in strengthening its tax administration by transferring technical know-how and skills to its tax auditors and through sharing of best audit practices. So broadly yahi hai. You just need to understand what is the purpose of this tax inspectors without borders. The next one, and which has been very much in news, is minimum corporate tax. So minimum corporate tax हम पढ़ेंगे नहीं, हम सीखेंगे. We'll learn what is it. सी मान लीजिए इधर कोई कंपनी है, अल्फ़ा कंपनी, मान लीजिए एनी बिग कंपनी दैट इज़ ऑपरेटिंग ऑन एन इंटरनेशनल लेवल. इस कंपनी के कहीं हेडक्वार्टर्स होंगे जहाँ से सारे ऑपरेशंस लीड होते हैं. अब हेडक्वार्टर्स हैं कंट्री ए में, विच इज़ अ वेरी इन्फ्लुएंशियल कंट्री, और इन्फ्लुएंशियल कंट्री है, अमीर कंट्री है, डेवलप्ड कंट्री है. सो इन दिस कंट्री टैक्स रेट विल बी वेरी हाई एंड द टैक्स रेट हियर इज़ 20%. What this company does is headquarters इधर बना लेते हैं, they make their headquarters at this rich country and overseas operation deploy करते हैं एक ऐसी country में जहाँ पे tax rate बहुत कम होता है. For example, in a country B where tax rate is just 10%. So उसको 10% का benefit हो गया, international dollars में जो currency exchange में जो benefit होगा वो अलग. So the company gains a benefit out of here, it evades taxes. So company is based here. अब what is the problem? This country which is actually supplying resources, जहाँ पर इसके headquarters हैं, which is where it is based, this country is not earning out of there. And what I told you, OECD is a grouping of all the developed and rich countries, countries with high HDI and countries which are democracies. So these countries, OECD की जो member countries थी, they are rich countries. वहाँ इन कंट्रीज़ में इन कंपनीज़ के हेडक्वार्टर्स होते थे, ऑपरेशंस यहाँ होते थे थोड़ी पुअरर नेशंस में. सो दीज कंट्रीज़ डिसाइडेड अंडर द अम्ब्रेला ऑफ OECD दैट वी विल लॉन्च वन ग्लोबल मिनिमम कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स लॉन्च किया जाएगा एंड लेट्स फिक्स इट एट 15%. कि एक टोटल जो कंपनी टैक्स दे रही है 15% तो बने ही बने. सो what happens is if in country B this organization is paying 10% tax, so if the global minimum tax is 15%, So the rest of 5%, 15 में से 10 गया, 5 रह गया, rest 5% of the tax which the company was saving, it will be liable to pay to this country जहाँ पे इसके headquarters हैं. So this difference of 5% goes to top up taxes to country A on country B earnings, that wherever earnings it is doing. So this to make up for this difference, so that these countries also earn and they do not suffer because of having high tax rates, this 15% bar has been set so that everybody gets to know and everybody benefits. So 136 countries including India agreed to enforce a minimum corporate tax rate of 15% and an equitable system of taxing profits of big companies in markets where they are earned. So this practice, which I told you, is mostly done by big companies because they have that power and resources to settle headquarters and branches in all parts of the world. So Apple, Alphabet, Facebook, so they are all opposing it, and this is the entire concept of minimum corporate tax. So India has agreed to it. India will also have to bring down like the digital tax India को हटाना पड़ेगा, which are which we have imposed on companies for carrying out digital operations, because once we agree to this we'll have to follow this. The second part is sovereignty of a nation, कि आप कितना taxing करते हैं company के ऊपर, that will have to suffer because once we sign the agreement we'll have to comply with all the rules of this agreement. And this will cover firms with global sales above 20 billion euros or this and profit margins above 10% only. So this is the this is the technical know-how of it. Just go through it twice or thrice so that you remember in case of any statement is asked. The next important criticism about this is the most we are very apprehensive about this is because जो ये थोड़ी poor country थी जहाँ पे tax rate कम था, even if it is not poor but it is giving a little lesser tax rate, मतलब taxing कम है इस country में. So what used to happen is यहाँ पर research and development या investment opportunities बढ़ जाती थी. Investment used to rise in these countries due to the lower tax. Now since the global minimum tax will be brought into picture, then this skewed growth of capitalism or skewed distribution of resources can increase because other countries will not have this weapon or tool to attract investment in their country. So that is a problem, that is an area of concern. The next one is Quad or the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. Earlier it was perceived to be a military alliance. पहले इसको military alliance बोला जाता था, and especially from China it was China said that yes it is a military alliance to counter China's power. But no, Quad recently if you see the mandate of Quad, it has like a lot of goals and perspectives for the long run. For example, fighting terrorism, cultural cooperation, democratic values promote करना. Military alliances तो हैं ही हैं, but otherwise also there are many values many goals that have been promoted through Quad. What are the members of Quad? As the name indicates, there are 4 members. And what are these members? These are basically maritime democracies. Maritime, like they have their borders with sea, international borders with sea, and they're democracies. Again, yes, this is a wrong map here, but for like illustration for your exam, we are using maps from Google Maps only or some international atlases. So please bear with us. What are these 4 international maritime democracies? The first one is India. Second is Australia. Then you have third Japan here. And the fourth is United States of America. This area here is Alaska. US का part है. So these are the 4 democracies which are part of Quad. Let's see where they collaborate. One of the primary objectives of the Quad is to work for a free, open, prosperous and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. If you see that this common area rather, this comprises the Indo-Pacific area. So they want this area to be peaceful, and this is where China has been flexing muscles. China अपनी influence यहीं पर exert कर रहा है. Sometimes we find China's submarines in Indian Ocean. Sometimes we see that China is flexing muscles in South China Sea. So these countries came together and decided that yes, this is an alliance of democratic countries only, and we are just working for peaceful collaboration, peaceful Indo-Pacific region. The next one is AUKUS, and it stands for Australia. Australia is located here. UK stands for the United Kingdom here, and US. So Australia, UK and US alliance. For this, to understand this alliance, you should know about the Five Eyes alliance. What is the Five Eyes intelligence alliance? So to share intelligence information between some of the major and important countries, Five Eyes alliance बनाया गया था और उसमें कौन सी countries part थी? These three countries were there: Australia, UK and United States. The other two countries were Canada and New Zealand. New Zealand and Canada. So 5 countries थी और वो intelligence information share करती थी so that they could help themselves, help each other to improve their security arrangements. तो intelligence information share करती थी and out of that this alliance has emerged in which Canada and New Zealand are not a part, only these 3 countries are part: Australia, United Kingdom and USA. It is a trilateral security pact between these 3 countries announced in 2021 itself, and it is there for the Indo-Pacific region. Just like Quad is there for Indo-Pacific region, this is also for Indo-Pacific region. So इसमें क्या होगा? The 2 countries, United States and United Kingdom, will support Australia to acquire nuclear powered submarines. तो Australia की security enhance करने के लिए, and they have collaborations over cyber security, artificial intelligence, quantum technologies, undersea capabilities, hypersonic and counter hypersonic electronic warfare, like basically all modern forms of warfare. So this is about it. This is a very small information. Just remember it for eliminating statements or match the following questions. The next one is RCEP or Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. So yesterday we studied ASEAN. कल हमने ASEAN पढ़ा था, ASEAN +3 पढ़ा था और ASEAN +6 पढ़ा था. So ASEAN +6 के जो members थे, ASEAN +6, ASEAN had free trade agreements with all these 6 countries जो ASEAN +6 के members थे. So it was decided that let's form a pact, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership में let's come together and let's liberalize economic trade. Let's liberalize trade, let's liberalize international trade. कुछ constant, कुछ एक policies decide करते हैं जिस पर हमारा trade आसान हो जाए, because ASEAN had this idea that yes हमारा free trade agreement तो है ही इन सब countries के साथ, so let's come together. But what happened is that all these countries were trading with ASEAN separately, but when everything comes into picture, for example when China came into picture, India was apprehensive that India's industries might lose out, or India's trade might lose out on the international front अगर ये RCEP में sign कर देते हैं. So India backed out in around 2019. So it was a trade deal signed among 15 countries. Earlier India was also a part, so it was 16 countries. And these countries include 10 members of ASEAN and 5 other members. Start from here, the Pacific. Australia is there, New Zealand is there, South Korea, Japan and China. Earlier India was also there. So the member countries account for nearly 30% of global GDP. And India had a problem with the dairy industry कि जो dairy के products आएंगे वो ready-made अगर import हम कर लेते हैं lower prices पे, तो Indian dairy industry on which a lot of poor people depend. So उनके जो their households will not be, their livelihood will suffer. And the next part was intellectual property rights. The laws regarding intellectual property rights were very stringent in this, and India cannot comply with those as of now. So, and obviously cheap labor and the products that are used that are produced cheaply in other countries, India की market बहुत suffer करती, so that's why India backed out. The next one is MERCOSUR. It is there for South America. That is what you have to remember in case match the following is asked, that it was a customs union in South America basically. So basically whatever these South American nations are there, they have signed this agreement for promoting free trade amongst them. So whenever they are making an agreement on international level also, अब अगर Brazil India के साथ separate agreement sign करेगा, so Brazil might have to lose out on some points. But if a organization like MERCOSUR, where all these countries are there, where all these countries are members, that organization signs a contract or a free trade agreement with India, so this all these countries will benefit more. So it is like a common market, free trade chalta hai idhar in the members of MERCOSUR, and they decide on economic policies when they come together under this umbrella organization. The next one is 17 plus 1. Why is this important? Because it is related to China, and the location of these countries, these member countries, is around Ukraine and Russia. So this is a very important organization. Recently, what is this organization about? China का Belt and Road Initiative है. China has this Belt and Road Initiative running. So to extend it to eastern part of Europe, eastern part of Europe has borders with China. So it can interact with China easily. So China decided to launch an alliance with these Eastern European countries. ये जो छोटी छोटी countries हैं इनके साथ alliance बनाया, and these were 17 countries in number. ये जो छोटी countries हैं, these were 17 in number, and plus 1 stands for China. That's 17 of Eastern Europe plus China, and we'll help them build bridges, build roads, basically build infrastructure. China is doing that for many countries. So recently Lithuania is here. Lithuania has backed out of the agreement because it is not agreeing to what China is proposing, and it is also motivating other countries, other small countries of this area to come together and have a strong or firm stand against China. So it is cooperation. It stands for like CEEC, cooperation between China and Central Eastern European countries. Earlier this was China CEE, Central Eastern European countries. Now it is known as 16 plus 1. 17 minus 1 is 16 plus 1 has been there. So it is an initiative by Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs to promote business and investment relations between China and 16 countries of Central and Eastern Europe. So this is all that you have to remember from here. Also remember the names of these countries. Just go through the location, especially in this map. Names will not be entirely asked, but you should remember that what are these countries. Just go through it once. The next is the Arctic Council. As the name indicates, Arctic Council is an organization of countries surrounding the Arctic Ocean. Arctic Ocean में global warming की वजह से melting down of ice caps हो रहा था, and there was a lot of pollution that was there, and due to a lot of international activities, mineral excavation was being carried out, and it was seen that it is polluting the Arctic Ocean. So this is the logo of Arctic Ocean. As you can see, it's a polar bear here. So it is the leading intergovernmental forum promoting cooperation, coordination and interaction among the Arctic states. What are Arctic states? Which are surrounding the Arctic Ocean. Arctic indigenous communities. So एक तो countries आ गई. It is a tripartite forum. Arctic states and Arctic indigenous communities. Any international organization does not involve indigenous communities. This is one of the very few organizations that takes indigenous communities of this Arctic Ocean area together to save the Arctic and other Arctic inhabitants or on common Arctic issues, in particular on issues of sustainable development and environmental protection. So this is their goal, to protect the environment of Arctic Ocean by taking in account, by taking coordination from indigenous communities and other inhabitants of Arctic. So what you have to remember here is कि जो organization है, this Arctic Council has been set up by the Ottawa Declaration. Ottawa is capital of Canada, and Canada has boundary with the Arctic Ocean. As we'll see, it is a member of this Arctic Council. So what are the member countries here? First we'll read them out, then we'll locate them. The first one is Canada, the Kingdom of Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, the Russian Federation, Sweden and United States. Basically all these countries have a boundary with the Arctic Ocean. We'll see this. See, this is a map from above. As you can see, Canada is here. So Alaska, as we mentioned, it was towards the western side of Canada. So this is a map from the upper end. If you go here, like downwards here, then Canada has USA under it. USA comes in the Arctic Circle or near the Arctic Ocean due to Alaska, because it has sovereign rights over Alaska. So Canada is here, United States is there, Greenland, Denmark is obviously there, as you can see in a normal map also. From here you have these Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden and Finland. Russia, it is so big that it has a lot of area in Arctic Ocean, and it was the malpractices carried out by the Russian government also in the name of research and development. Mineral excavation was being carried out and it was causing a lot of pollution here. So that's why they all came together. Now बहुत सारी और भी है, Norway is also here. as I just mentioned, Norway has an island also this side. So it's there, Svalbard, due to the presence of Svalbard there. So there are many observer countries also which collaborate in saving the Arctic area, Arctic Ocean, and India is also part of this council as an observer, because हमारी boundary नहीं लगती है Arctic Ocean के साथ, so we cannot be members, but we are observers in and we are contributing to saving the Arctic. In addition, 6 organizations representing Arctic indigenous peoples have a status of permanent participants. So 6 ऐसी organizations हैं जो Arctic के indigenous communities, indigenous people को represent करती हैं. So that's how indigenous people have a stake in this organization in Arctic Council. Observer status in the Arctic Council is open to non-Arctic states, and they contribute through their engagement in the council at the level of working groups. So China is also an observer, and Singapore is also an observer. Singapore is there near the Pacific and Indian Ocean, but still it is a part of Arctic Council, and India is there. You can read out what are the member countries here which are observers for knowledge or for elimination point of view. Yes, that's all for today. We have covered mostly all the important organizations. We'll be seeing what all are the other organizations that we need to cover in the subsequent lectures. Work is on for completing the speeches part, policies part, so stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, keep working hard, and all the best to you. Also, you can download the PDF of this entire presentation from the link in the description below. The link will take you to our Telegram channel. You should have Telegram downloaded in your device, whatever you are using. It will take you to our Telegram channel, and on an everyday basis, we upload a PDF there of the entire discussion that is carried out here. So all the best, download the PDF from there.